Welcome to A Biblical Worldview. I'm your girl, Tonya Michelle. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Go ahead and hit that like button for me as you come in so that I can get into the algorithm and so that you can see my videos in your feed when you log onto your YouTube and Rumble accounts. And if you'd like to support my efforts here at A Biblical Worldview, there are some links in the description box where you can donate, and any contribution you make will be greatly appreciated and will help me continue to bring you content from a biblical perspective. So let's get into it. Well, today is Thursday, and I just thought I'd drop some Thursday thoughts because I got a lot of Thursday thoughts. Oh my goodness. And my thought today is that children in the world, not just in America, especially in America, but all over the world, children are suffering for the decisions of adults. And it is burdening my heart. It is burdening my heart. There are some horrific stories that are out in the news right now regarding children. And so the one I want to talk about today, which one burdens my heart more? I can't even categorize, but the one that I want to talk about today is concerning this lady who basically sold out her uterus so that another couple could have a baby. They hired her to be a surrogate. Well, during the pregnancy, it is my understanding that the baby was diagnosed with some degenerative disease that would require quite a bit of medical care after the baby was born. The couple, the parents of this child, I don't know if they didn't want to do the medical care. I don't know if they just wanted to have a perfect baby and just be done with it. I don't really know their reasoning, but for whatever reason, they asked the surrogate to terminate. And the surrogate wouldn't do it. Her conscience would not allow her to end the life of the unborn child that she was carrying. I don't know, I guess she communicated to the parents that she was not going to terminate. And she even says in this video that I'm about to show you that her brother and sister-in-law were willing to adopt the baby if the biological parents would agree to it. That way, she didn't have to terminate, and they didn't have to worry about taking custody of the baby if they didn't want the baby. But so far, that has not happened. It's my understanding, and I'm not sure of the timeline of this video, but it appears that she has already had this baby. She's already given birth, and the biological parents have custody of the child. My concern for the child is if they didn't want the child before the child was born and they have the child now, what are they going to do to that baby? But anyway, we're going to jump into this video, and I'm just going to share my screen here and let you watch this video and see, and then we'll come back and we'll have some thoughts. So this is from Colin Rugg's Twitter account. He says the surrogate who refused to abort the baby she was carrying is now being sued by the biological parents who have since taken custody of the child. And their names don't sound American, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce those, but they are suing 28-year-old McKenna West for over $100,000. West would not abort. She says no to abortion. She gives birth. The parents take custody of the child, and the parents are suing her for giving birth to that child. So apparently she went on the Megyn Kelly show. So we're going to just play this and let you hear what was said.
And I just didn't know what to do. I felt very trapped due to this contract and felt like I had no voice. but I knew in my soul and my heart that I wanted to protect this little boy. And thankfully, my brother was, it was put on his heart to call me and just speak hope and courage into me. And he and his wife even offered to adopt this baby if it meant me not having to go through this late term abortion.
Wow. Right. Because at this point, the baby's almost 5 months in utero. And this is, you start to feel the baby moving. It's like this is a very special time for a mother.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it would be like to be told that you must abort the baby, like that you must.
Yeah.
So you didn't, which is extraordinary. They must have taken a lot of prayers and courage on your part. And now it's devolved into a legal battle. So let me bring in Lincoln at this point, your lawyer. So Lincoln, the was the legal battle. Did the parents try to force the abortion? Has a court ruled on that? Because McKenna did not abort the baby. She is pregnant right now.
No, they didn't try to force an abortion in court. What really happened was that after McKenna had resisted and they put on essentially a pressure campaign to force her to abort, they even enlisted her own prior counsel to serve her with a demand of $250,000 with a process server in the middle of the night. And when they were unsuccessful in doing that, what they did was they pivoted to California and they filed a lawsuit in California, even though the contract requires any litigation in Alaska where McKenna lives. They said, we're filing suit in California and we want an expedited judgment of parentage. And our basic understanding is that what they want to do is if they're declared the parents, and unfortunately the California court did declare them to be the parents, then they can make the decision about medical care and they can decide when this baby's born that they won't give him any care and he'll be dead in a matter of days without it. McKenna is unequivocally willing to fight for his life, though.
So that's the story. That is the surrogate mother who carried the baby to term. And as I said, I've read since then that she has given birth and she has turned the baby over to, I think she turned the baby over to Child Protective Services, and they in turn gave the baby to the parent. So, as the attorney stated, if the parents who were legally deemed parents in the state of California, which I don't understand because I know she, the surrogate mother, lives in Alaska. I would assume that the biological parents live in Alaska also. Why would they go to California? Oh, well, of course, if it's something that you want to do and it's wrong, California will support you. So they get a court in California to legally call them the parents of this child. So now they have the legal right to withhold care from that baby for this medical condition that the baby has been diagnosed with, if that is what they choose to do. This is so disturbing. This is so disturbing. And personally, I'm just going to lay it out there. I believe that surrogacy needs to be made a crime on the federal level so that babies don't go through what this baby is going to go through. First of all, that baby was carried in that young woman's uterus for 9 months. If she carried the baby to term, 9 months she carried him. That baby got used to her. That baby's used to her heartbeat and her movements, her breathing patterns, her voice. And when that baby was born, the most reassuring and comforting thing that anyone could have done for that baby was to allow him, I believe it was a boy, allow him to be near her, because guess what? He's going to hear that same heartbeat, that same breathing pattern, that same voice that he's come to know over the entire span of his life in the womb. That's the first thing. The second thing is taking a baby and just giving it away that way. There's just something that just feels so sinister about that to me. And I just don't like it. I just don't like it. And I think that something needs to be done sooner rather than later to protect these babies from being born and sold and just given away. I think this is a dangerous precedent that we have set. We are not cherishing our children the way that God intended. And I was thinking about it this morning. I said, I can't believe we have come to this point where we are treating children this way. But then again, I had to go back and think about it. My Sunday school class and I, we are walking through the book of Exodus. And in Exodus, we read about the birth of Moses. And when Moses was born, prior to Moses' birth, an edict was sent down from the Pharaoh. And he had a team of people, I don't know, an army or a department, some officials who were assigned to make sure that any baby less than 2 years old from the Hebrew nation was drowned in the river. Yeah. So when Moses' mother gave birth to him, she kept him for 3 months, and she knew he was getting too big. He was starting to get noisy. Somebody was going to discover him. Somebody was going to come by the house unexpectedly, or just whatever the situation was. And she was not going to be able to hide that baby anymore. So she built him a basket, and she put him on the river, and she put him right where Pharaoh's daughter would see him, hoping against hope, I guess, that Pharaoh's daughter would have compassion on the baby once she found him. And fortunately for her, she was right. Pharaoh's daughter had compassion on that baby. But the reason I bring that story up is because even back before Moses was born, people did not value the lives of children. And that edict would have taken the life of the man who would deliver the people of Israel from the hands of their Egyptian oppressors. God used Moses as a deliverer, and the enemy tried to use infanticide to keep God's people in bondage. I want you to know that infanticide these days is still keeping God's people in bondage. 70 million babies have been lost here in America between 1973 and 2022 in abortion mills all across the United States. Almost 70 million American citizens were lost. We talk about how our economy is so bad, but we've destroyed 70 million people who could have been paying into that economy. We could have had a booming economy with 70 million more people alive right now. And the reason I say that is because the very first person, and if you follow this channel for any amount of time, you've heard me say this before. The very first baby that was aborted in 1973 would have been 53 years old today. Very likely a productive citizen. a productive man or productive woman who could have been paying into the Social Security system that we keep saying is going to be empty in the next few years. So the enemy of our souls is still using infanticide to keep God's people in bondage. This story about this baby being tossed back and forth, and now these parents are actually suing the surrogate for giving birth to the baby, which is what they contracted her to do in the first place. They're suing her for over $100,000 because she would not end that unborn baby's life. I can't with these stories. I can't. My prayer is for the unborn all across this nation, across the world, but especially here in the United States where I live. I pray that God will have mercy on the United States and that he will turn us from our wickedness, because we have not treated our children the way that we should. We have not cherished them the way that he intended for us to cherish them. We don't cherish them the way Hannah cherished Samuel. Hannah wanted a son, and she prayed and she asked God, and she said, if you give me a son, I will dedicate him to you. And she did just that. Now we have people who are just having babies and just destroying them, and it's just too much. So saints, be praying for our children. Pray for the unborn. Pray for infants. Pray for mothers that they will come to their senses. Pray that the federal government will make surrogacy illegal in the United States. Well, that's my time. Thank you so much for stopping by Biblical Worldview. Don't forget to leave a like under the video, and I will see you next time.